and welcome to the New Agent Mindset. My name is John Pena. I'm a real estate agent with EXP in lovely El Paso, Texas. And in this episode, this is a video episode. Most of the episodes are podcast episodes. This one, of course, is a podcast as well. So if you're on the video, though, YouTube site, make sure you check out the podcast. This episode is going to be all about my experience with my mentor, essentially. So in October, I did an episode where I updated everybody on, the new real estate agent salary, my particular experience. I started in February with Keller Williams. COVID hit. By October, I had only closed one home, and that was a sale of my own home. I represented myself. And after the expenses of getting my license and joining a brokerage and joining the MLS and all of that, I made a whopping, and taxes, I made a whopping $2,337. Now, fast forward to middle of December. It's been about 10 months since I've been in the industry. A number of things have happened, which I've talked about, and now I'm finally into production, is what I say. Essentially, now I'm making money, right? So, it took me about 10 months to get there, but I'm going to talk about that at the end. So, I wanted to kind of break down my experience because since I joined EXP about 5 months ago, since I had only closed one transaction, I was automatically put into the mentor program there. And so I wanted to speak a little bit about that. I think, quite honestly, it was the best thing to happen to me, and I will explain why. So, the mentorship program, basically, when you are enrolled in that, in EXP at least, you get partnered with a local real estate agent who has gone through the mentor training. And it's fantastic because if you don't jive with the first one or the second one, you can, request another one. So it's not like you are assigned a mentor and that's it, end of discussion. And actually, that happened with me because the first mentor that I was assigned, she was awesome, but then she invited me to a team meeting, and some of the personalities on that team, quite honestly, I didn't really want to be a part of. So I requested another mentor. I got a gentleman, we'll call him JR, and he is great. He was with EXP, or he has been in real estate for a very long time. So, he's very knowledgeable in transactions, which is exactly the type of knowledge and wisdom that I needed at the time. So I have used him a lot, and I'll speak to that here in a moment. But let's go ahead and jump into the numbers. So when you're enrolled into the mentor program, you are essentially going to be in that program for 3 to 5 transactions. So at least 3 transactions, and if you then, close those transactions, you're going to meet with your mentor and you're going to decide, all right, should we do a couple more, or am I good to go? I'm released to the wild, so to speak. So at EXP, the split is 80-20, and what that means is that 80% of my commission is going to go to me, 20% of my commission is going to go to EXP until it caps at $16,000, at which point I'll make 100% of my commission minus some fees for insurance and broker reviews. So when you're in the mentor program, though, the split's a little bit different. I'm going to get 70% of my commission. JR, or your mentor, is going to get 10%, and EXP is going to get their 20%. So I actually closed 3 transactions just in the last couple of days here, so I was going to break those down for you. So on Friday, I closed a deal for $173,500. Now, in El Paso, believe it or not, our average home price is $182,000. Which I know sounds insane if you're from a bigger market, but believe it or not, these homes are actually pretty nice. They're even newer, good parts of the city, great neighborhoods, good schools. So your money goes a long way in El Paso. So of that $173,500, I'm going to get, as a buyer's agent, the normal 3% sales commission. The other agent's going to get their 3% as well. So 3% of $173,500 is $5,205. So 70% of that went to me, $3,643. 10% of that went to my mentor, JR, so he got $520. 20% is going to go to EXP, $1,041. I closed 2 deals yesterday. The second deal number 2, I'm calling it, was $294,000. The 3% commission on that is $8,820. 70% of that I took, just over $6,000. 10% went to JR, $882. 20% is going to go to EXP, $1,764. The other deal I closed yesterday, $246,075. Commission on that, 3% is $7,382. 70% of that's going to go to me, which is $5,167. 10% to your mentor, $738. 20% to EXP, $1,476. So the grand total of all that for those 3 transactions, my take, $14,984. Now, there are some other little fees in there, errors and omissions insurance, broker reviews. So I just wanted, though, to just kind of keep the math simple, but that is more than I actually took home. And keep in mind that I still need to pay taxes on that. My mentor's take, $2,140 for his troubles. EXP's take, $4,281. So now my cap, which was at $16,000, now we can subtract $4,281. So now I owe just under $12,000 still to EXP. Now, the main point here is having a mentor. Was it worth it? Was $2,140, was it worth it for me to have JR as my mentor? And the answer is a resounding and very simple yes, absolutely, and I will tell you why. Because as a new real estate agent, you don't know what you don't know, okay? Trust me, you do not know what you don't know. What you think you know can change, and there might be slight variances on it. So I'm going to say that I was on the phone with JR over the last month or so, actually about 6 to 8 weeks. I'd say on average 4 times a week. If it was something simple, I could just text him. But I was reaching out to him on a pretty regular basis because I do not want to make any mistakes, right? If a client asks me a question and I don't know the answer, it's very important that you handle that correctly. First of all, you're not going to want to guess unless it's something that's very trivial, which it probably isn't. Don't guess, okay? That's the worst thing you can do because you might be wrong, and then what are you going to do? Go back and say, oh, I'm sorry, or just try to kind of squeeze by and hope they don't notice? No, that's not the way to do business. You're also not going to want to say, I don't know, and just leave it at that, okay? That obviously is not how you want to run your business. What I say is, that's such a good question. I'm not 100% sure about that. Let me reach out to my team lead, ask them, and then I'm going to get back to you immediately. Sure, I'm admitting that I don't know the answer. That's okay, all right? Whether you've told your client or not that you're a new real estate agent, it's okay that you don't know everything. It's okay to say, hey, I'm not 100% sure. I want to make sure that I give you the absolute correct answer. Let me, give me 5 minutes and I'll be back to you. Now, there's an important point. Give me 5 minutes. Because if you're at another broker, there's a real good chance that you're not going to get an answer in 5 minutes. You're going to reach out to the broker and be like, hey, I've got a quick question. And if you get a hold of them, chances are they're going to be like, sorry, I'm busy doing X, Y, Z, or the 10 billion other things that brokers are trying to handle. And you're not going to get an answer right away. Maybe they push you off to another agent and maybe you get through to them. For me, if I didn't know an answer, I knew that I could call up JR, and assuming he wasn't with a client or busy or something, I was going to get a hold of him and he was going to answer my question and explain it to me so that I understood it, right? So for $2,100, I mean, it was definitely worth it to have a mentor. So now, just for fun, if I had not been in that mentorship program, taking that 70 split, I would have made $17,125, right? So, but chances are, who knows what would have happened. The transactions would have been ridiculously stressful, and even with my mentor, they were still kind of stressful, but it would have been a lot worse. I might have even blown a deal and lost a client or two if I would not have had my mentor. So, regardless of broker, you want to find a mentor. You want to find somebody who you can reach out to who's going to be able to give you accurate answers in a timely fashion. Whoever that is, right? Chances are maybe you can find somebody who's just a nice person and they like you and they agree to do that for you and they don't charge you anything. Awesome. That's great, right? But you should not count on your broker to provide you with a lot of answers, because quite honestly, you took the real estate test, you're expected to figure it out or know it, right? But trust me, you won't. There's just too many things that they don't teach you in the classes that you're going to run up against. So you want to have a mentor in place. Brokers, let's talk about this. So now I just justified paying $2,100 to my mentor, hands down worth it for me. What about that $4,281 though that I'm paying to EXP? Some of you out there are saying, well, why did you pay all of that money to EXP? There are flat fee brokers out there. That means that essentially they're going to charge you a monthly fee, could be anywhere from $100 to a couple $100 a month. And what you're going to get with that could vary. And then they're going to charge you a flat fee per transaction. Let's say $200 to $500. So the rest of the money you're going to keep, okay? Now, why pay money to a broker then? Mind you, Keller Williams, when I started with them, it was a 70-30 split and the cap was $22,500. So if you think $16,000 is a lot, you should check out some of these other brokers that are even more. But anyway, why would we pay our hard-earned money to a broker? And I'll tell you why I pay my money to EXP. Because EXP is a retirement plan / wealth building model, the way I see it. Because in addition to generating income and having all of these assets like a web with IDX simply meaning that when a client goes onto your website, they can actually search the MLS and look at listings. KV Core, contact relation management software included. EXP World, 60 plus hours of training by actual top level agents who are still active in the field. All these other things, transaction management, SkySlope, this, that, all the other things. In addition to all of that, EXP gives me a couple of things that other brokers don't. It gives me a means to generate equity via stock. It's a publicly traded company. If I cap, which in my market means I'm going to have to sell about 15 homes to have that 20% cut add up to $16,000, at which point then I'm making 100% of the commission minus those fees. At that point, if I close an additional 20 transactions within my employment year, I'm an icon agent, at which point EXP will give me the $16,000 that I paid to them. They will give that back to me in company stock. There's an agent equity program where I can have a certain percentage of my commission buy stock at a discount every time I close a transaction. For me, that is ownership, right? We always talk about, when we talk to buyers like, hey, if you rent, you're throwing your money away. Why not buy? Well, the same could be said for real estate agents. If you're just with your regular, Joe Schmo broker, you're renting. You're paying them money that goes away. It will never come back to you. You're essentially just renting your broker in order to do business. I'm not renting at EXP. I'm buying. I am investing in a publicly traded company that's going through the roof, and I'm going to have all of that equity over the years. And, to me, that's important because I don't want to be slinging houses when I'm 70, okay? The other thing that validates that commission, paying that 20%, that $16,000 to EXP, is the chance to participate in agent attraction and rev share. EXP and Keller Williams, but EXP essentially uses their own agents to attract other agents rather than going out and hiring headhunters to go out and bug people to join. When agents grow the company, the agents are rewarded through rev share. So that's something that I think is awesome. I'm participating in that. It's part of the reason why I've created this podcast and YouTube channel as a means to reach out to other agents who might be interested in joining a company with like-minded people that want to not only be successful in a real estate business, but want to build wealth for the future, have a retirement. One other amazing thing about that agent attraction rev share is that should I pass away, anybody in my immediate family, I can will them my rev share. And if they get their agent license in 18 months, they don't have to close a deal in their life. They will get my monthly rev share from all the agents that are underneath me. So, for me, that's why I'm with EXP and I'm giving them my money. So, that's it for the mentor program. I wanted to speak mostly, and regardless of what broker you're with, the point here, you have to get a mentor. You have to have somebody who you can reach out to and who's going to get back to you, like I said, with accurate information in a timely fashion so that you can provide the best service to your clients and grow your business. End of story if you're a new agent, for me. One other thing, we're at the end of 2020. Thank God, right? So now's a great time to start thinking about your business. Now's a great time to start setting goals. Now is a fantastic time to really dive deep into what is working and what is not working if you're already in the industry. If something isn't working, get rid of it or change it or fix it. Chances are maybe get rid of it. I believe, quite honestly, that for most of us, the 80-20 principle is usually in play. And what I mean by that is that 80% of what you're doing is probably not really yielding any noticeable or financial results. 20% of what you're doing is. Ditch that 80%, focus on that 20, and grow that, because that's what's working for you. Okay? Plain and simple. Additionally, in relation to kind of what I've been thinking about, now I have a lot of buyers and I'm very fortunate. However, like I mentioned last time, I was reading the book by Gary Keller, Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Leads, got plenty of those. Listings, ain't got one of those. All right, so listings means finding sellers and being the listing agent or the agent for the seller. I do have something that I'm pretty excited about coming up that I've already initiated as a means to attract sellers, which I'm sure I will talk a lot about in 2021. But the point that I wanted to say about my kind of goal setting in relation specifically to the new agent mindset is that it took me 10 months to go from zero to making money. What I've decided that I really want to do with new agent mindset is try to come up with a system, strategies, tactics, tools, tips, advice, but a system that can help new agents or even agents that are currently in the business but maybe struggling, who I want to be able to have a system in place that takes that startup time from 10 months down to 2 to 3 months, okay? Now, caveat on that. Let's say that I come up with the most amazing, unbelievable new agent system in the world, okay? If I come up with that system, 4 out of 5 of you are still, chances are, not going to be successful. 4 out of 5 of you are either going to not do it, or you're going to do it poorly, or you're going to kind of do it, but maybe think you have a better idea and just kind of do it your own way, and you are not going to be successful. I'm looking for the 1 or 2 of you in that group of 5 who is going to do it, can implement it, and can be consistent, can grasp the mindset that's needed in order to be successful, who can essentially find what it is that's going to work for you based on your personality and your unique strengths and weaknesses, and start and do it. No excuses, right? So just kind of wanted to put that out there about what I'm thinking about with new agent mindset. Like I said, I think that real estate is an awesome opportunity for entrepreneurs. Quite honestly, I'm loving it. Like I'm having a great time, okay? And it's easy for me to say that now because the checks are coming in, but for the last 10 months, not so much, especially those first 8 months were tough, right? So my goal though in the future, 21, shrink down that time from starting to actually making money and consistently closing transactions. So thank you so much. One quick thing in relation to, I know it sounds kind of harsh to say that 4 out of 5 of you are going to fail, but I mean, them's the statistics. So I was thinking about this movie my wife and I watched the other night, Beyond the Secret. If you remember about 15, 20 years ago, this book came out called The Secret. It was all over the place. It was on Oprah. I mean, everyone was talking about it. And the idea was essentially, if you visualize something in your mind, then it can manifest for you, and it can be, right? So you've got all these people who are going to bed, and they're visualizing a Ferrari in the driveway, and then they're waking up in the morning and looking outside, and the Ferrari's not there, and they're like, what the hell, right? So now this movie comes out, Beyond the Secret, and essentially it's saying, well, look, we kind of thought that it was implied or assumed or obvious that in order for this to really work, if this is the way that the universe, is set up, in order for this to really work, you actually have to take action, okay? In order for there to be a reaction, there has to be action in the first place. And, it seems like people kind of missed the boat, so they had to come back and kind of remake this movie and be like, hey, this can happen, but it ultimately, comes down on you actually taking action and doing something. And so it really struck a chord with me because that's exactly what real estate is. Because now I'm talking to more agents out there, not new agents. Some of these agents have been at this for a while, and I can see why they're struggling, because everybody wants it, right? But not everybody takes action for whatever reason. Fears, is the biggest reason, quite honestly. But if you're not the kind of person who's actually going to take action, who's going to implement, who's going to try to stay positive and balanced, this isn't for you, quite honestly. What's for you is being an employee, okay, not a business owner. But there are plenty of you out there who are of the mindset that you're willing to take action, and you're willing and you're motivated to go out and go for it, and you're going to be successful. So I hope that everyone's doing well. I hope that you have a great holidays, and we've got one more episode. Then in January, I'm going to start with my favorite mindset book of all time, The 4 Agreements, which I think are just awesome. So looking forward to that. And until next time, we'll see you later.